Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of The Author Speaks. I think I can say Happy New Year and welcome to 2024. We're so excited to have you and to kick off this year with The Author Speaks. This is our first one for the year, and we're super excited. We have an amazing author who's going to talk to you about her book, Black Eyed Peas, An American Story. But before we do, we have to do some PSAs. We want to say if you're here and you're with us, we just want you to drop in the comments, whatever platform you're using. Just tell us where your city and state is, where you're joining us from. If you have any questions or comments for our author, please drop them on whatever platform you're on. Just drop it in the comments and we'll bring it online so she can answer any questions for you. And just say hi. We're very excited to have you here. Just so you know, the Author Speaks is a monthly event where we feature authors in different genres. And this year this month we're featuring folklore. And Evelyn's going to talk a little bit about her book. But in February, we are doing biographies and memoirs or autobiographies. In March, we're featuring Women's History Month. April, we're doing poetry. May, we're doing fiction. And in the summer months, we take a break. So we're very excited. If you are an author and you would like to participate in any of those genres, if you write in those genres and you would like to participate in the Author Speaks, please visit our website at www.iabx.org. There you go, www.iabx.org, and you can just sign up for the Author Speaks. And we want to let you know that we've already started. We have two amazing events for you. We have our IABX Children's Book Festival, which will be June 8th. And we also have our 11th annual Independent Authors Book Expo on October 19th. And that's going to be at Kane University. Let me put up those tags for you. And we want you to save those dates because we want to see you there. Children's Book Authors, IABX Children's Book Festival is going to be June 8th. We have limited number of spots for authors, so you have to sign up now. And then we have our IABX 11th Annual Independent Authors Book Expo on October 19th, and that's going to be at Kane University Downs Hall from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. All of this information can be found on our website at iabx.org. We're running that ticker for you on the bottom. We see someone here, Darina Jefferson from New Jersey. We want to say hi, Darina. I'm sure Evelyn is happy to see you. All right, so we're going to begin. We're going to bring in our guest, Miss Evelyn Jefferson, without further ado. Hi, Evelyn. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Happy New Year and all of the good stuff.
Thank you. Same to you.
So we're just gonna dive right in. We're just gonna tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Evelyn Jefferson. I am a lifelong resident of Roselle until recently. I've moved to Rahway. I'm back and forth between Roselle and Rahway in regards to events. I have spent 20 years in the Roselle Board of Education, and I'm still there. My specialty is special education. My favorite grade is the third grade, and I've also been involved with technical classes and my favorite art and craft classes.
Okay, Wonderful. So, hear a little bit about Evelyn, and you can hear she's a teacher, she's an educator. So, it almost falls in line that she wanted to teach you and talk to you about the topic of her book, which is
Black Eyed Peas, An American Story.
excellent. And I just have to say, I have my copy right here. So, Evelyn's going to just tell us a little bit about the book.
The book got started as a small project. I wanted to make a little token favor type of craft project, craft item for the new year coming in. This was back in 2020, 1920. And it was a paper clothespin clip with some black eyed peas on it, a little spoon, and it just said, "Good luck with 2019." So I was asked, what was the symbolism of the black eyed peas? Why was it on a spoon? And the person whose store I put it in um, said, "Why don't you make a little promo or a little explanation card to go with the magnet, because it's really cute, but it's taken a lot of time to explain it, and my staff had to do other things." So since he was doing me a favor and I wasn't paying his staff, I said, "Okay." And I sat right there in his store and I wrote out a small little description. Well, I
Mhm.
wrote out the description. I started remembering things. And the most favorite thing that I like to remember is when my older brother said, "Mom," right in the middle of her fixing everything for the holiday. He comes in with his football uniform on after the game. And he says, "Mom, why are we eating black eyed peas again?" She had a spoon in her hand like this. She said, "Listen, I'll tell you. And this time, write it down. And when your father gets in, you're going to tell him. And if you don't remember what I told you, you're going to write it down again." So she
So you
explained,
wrote it down.
yes, she explained how the black eyed peas were a symbol of good
Mhm.
luck, and that it has been tradition. Some people say folklore, some people say it's true,
Mhm.
that you eat black eyed peas and collard greens on the new year, and it will bring you good luck. Now, some people say if a man comes into your house, the first visitor, and he sits down and has black eyed peas and collard greens, you will have good luck for the rest of the year.
Oh.
Of course, us females in the family, we had something to say about why did it have to be a man that brought you good luck when it was the woman who was doing all the cooking,
Oh, the cooking. But I
right?
never heard that part. I've heard the that the black eyed peas will give you luck. And actually, I'm as you all know, I keep repeating this, and you should all know by now, but I'm from Jamaica. So we don't use that is not a part of our culture, the black eyed peas, but we do have gungo peas, which is what you call pigeon peas. So we cook that in the holiday season. But I've never heard that the other part that you just mentioned, where if the man comes in as the first person to come in, he's bringing the luck. Yeah, I'm a kind of a little bit annoyed. Why is the lady bringing the luck? It's usually lady luck, isn't it?
Right, right. Well, in my book, you'll see I did a little research in regards to the man,
Mm,
and that's part of the American history that has to do actually with the Northeast. And I can't tell everything because then you won't want to buy it. You won't be inspired to buy the book. Um, but it has to do with why a man would be coming into your house. It could have very well been a lady, but she most likely would have been wearing pants because it was very cold,
mm,
and wearing men's clothes because of what she would be doing. Very simple, very much of a daily task.
mm.
Nothing magical about it.
Okay. Oh, that is so interesting because and I'm going to pretend like I don't have the book, so I'm going to just ask you the questions like
Okay.
I don't know for the public's general knowledge. One of the things that you find interesting do you find that a lot of people still use the black eyed peas as in the symbols, with the symbols that it had from way back when? Do you find that a lot of people are still doing it?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. And there are some who have forgotten, and there
Hmm.
are some who ask the question, why do we eat the black eyed peas? But there are some people who, many people who eat black eyed peas on New Year's Eve, if no other time of the year, just like a lot of people eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Well, that is true. That is true. So I know you kind of mentioned it briefly, but where did the inspiration come from to write this book? You know, putting down the historical piece of it, because there is a historical piece to the book. It's not just the log, but where did the inspiration come from?
Stories from my mother's kitchen, stories from her aunts and sisters coming to visit. I was a little chubbier than my brothers and sisters, and they always wanted to go outside and play and have climb the fence competitions and um, jump the log and who can jump over the fire pit. It wasn't no fire in it, but it was kind of high, made of bricks. I wasn't really interested in that, so I found comfort in sticking around the house and finding helping myself be busy. And a lot of
Mhm.
times I would just either sit on the floor or sit under the table where I wouldn't be out the way, and I would hear these stories, especially about the plant and um, what to look for when growing the beans.
Oh. And that, so have you ever tried to grow the beans outside of um cooking the beans, or do you do any of that aspect of it?
Well, I ordered some beans. They're called heritage beans,
Mm,
and I didn't plant them this summer, but I'm definitely going to plant them this March.
okay. And we're kind of going off topic, but I just, it just, once you said that, I was like, because I do have a garden, so I may have to borrow some of your beans.
I'll be glad to share them. I can't wait to see how they grow. One thing that I have noticed is that the black eyed peas in the last 2 years, I guess you would say since the pandemic, are much smaller.
Really?
Yes, we did a comparison because I was complaining. My sister, who is a beadologist, I should say, she makes a lot of different jewelry pieces with
Mm-hmm.
different beads and semi-precious stones. She was working on a necklace for me
Mm-hmm.
with the beans,
Oh.
and she was telling me that the beans were too small.
Oh, wow.
So a couple of years ago, the beans were definitely not too small to make an earring or something out of. So we did a comparison, and sure enough, they're almost half the size of what they were. So
Really?
I don't know if they became more popular or because of the way we transport our plants and import our plants, that they're coming in from the different states, and so they're actually growing in the trucks and
Oh,
not
well.
in, right. And they can't wait to harvest them so that they can, get them out to the markets. That's what another reason why I really can't wait to start growing my own black eyed peas.
Yeah, I can imagine, because that is something strange. I've never realized, but so much has happened since the pandemic. So we're just seeing the effects of it now as we go about our daily lives. So
Right.
that's something to note. I just want to say there is a Merlene. Hi, Merlene. Can you say where you're from? What part are you from? Jersey? Just drop your city and state. And if you have any questions for the author, just drop them in the chat where you ever, whichever platform you're on, and we can definitely ask her, because I'm sure she's waiting to hear your questions. Um, what was the hardest part about writing this book?
Good question. I think condensing all the different details and not really going too far off point with the different stories. Because
Mhm.
I actually have another fantasy book, folklore and fantasy, and it actually starts in the Black Eyed Pea Garden with
Hmm.
the different fairies. Basically, on my misconception of the conversation among the parents, as they describe the seedlings of different plants growing up in the gardens. And me and my 7, 8-year-old imagination turned them into different things. So I will leave those details for my other book,
Yeah.
but that was the hardest part for me.
Condensing. Um, so I know you have a what you said was like a it sounds like a YA book, but is that do you have a part two to the Black Eyed Peas book?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was really delighted to find out how many different cultures use the black eyed pea and use them for different things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the events that I have related to my book, Black Eyed Peas, An American Story, is my black eyed pea tasting. And
Yes.
I had it at the store where I actually started the writing for the book, which is Urban Marketplace. At the time, it was called Roselle Health Plus. So he has both signs out there. And the chef that works there now told me that he was actually inspired to try something different.
Mm-hmm.
So at the black eyed pea tasting, we had several different varieties of black eyed peas, and for dessert, we had black eyed pea cheesecake.
And I'm just gonna just tell you guys, I was there. I attended the Black Eyed Pea tasting. It was amazing. The black eyed cheesecake. You don't think what you think it's going to you think know what it's gonna be, and then you eat it and you're like, mm. If you've ever had a red bean shortcake, and this is I used to live in close to Chinatown in the city in New York City, and I would go to Chinatown and have they used to have a red bean shortcake. It reminded me so much of a red bean shortcake. The texture and the way he was able to, because beans sometimes get a little grittiness. He was able to make that really, really smooth. So that that black eyed cheesecake was really good. Um, and as we're going into, so do you have many recipes in here? Any recipes in here, Evelyn, that we can is there a favorite black eyed pea recipe that you have?
I, for the purpose of the book, I stuck to the basic black eyed pea recipe. And I made a list of some of the things that I like to add into it. But the
Mm-hmm.
idea of this was basically to explain the history of the black eyed pea, how it has become a part of our American culture. And I say American culture because, you know, as African Americans, we relate the black eyed pea to our meals, but there's so many people who relate the black eyed pea to their meals also and
Mm-hmm.
have their own different stories about it.
Right.
So I wanted to just stick to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
My next book is exploring more into the nutritional value,
Okay.
a little bit more formal research,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do a tabletop. How can you say a coffee table picture book of the different meals and the different settings. I a collector of china pieces. So my meals will be set with my different china dishes.
Okay. So we have a few questions popping up here, and I'm gonna bring this one up. It says, "Hi, can you plant the dry black eyed peas from the bag? My sister Lynn loves them. Black eyed black eyed pea cheesecake." Yes, Valerie, it was very good. I gotta tell you. So can you plant those black eyed peas on the bag? That's a good question.
No, you can
Okay.
try. You can take any type of pea and put it in water or a wet um, paper towel.
Right.
But what happens, especially with the black eyed pea, is that they're slightly cured.
Mm. In the
And
ones in the bag, right? The
right,
ones in
yes,
the bag. Yeah. Okay.
so you would have to try it and find out if yours have been cured, because we have found out that we, being my sisters and brothers, have found out that some beans just won't soften up.
Mm.
They're not expired, they're fairly fresh, they seem to be a little bit harder, and there is a process in the packaging and storage right after harvesting that they do. And I don't really understand it all. So I'm going to research that. And I think that when that happens, that kind of hardens the bean on the inside, hardens the coat. And then even when it's hit with water, it actually has an opposite effect to it.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So they
Right.
don't want us to grow any more black eyed peas.
No, they want to do that for black eyed peas.
They want to do it themselves. They want us to keep going back to them. Um, so we have a question here. Another question is from Darina. What advice would you give to anyone who is interested in writing a book?
Oh, I would have them contact Renee Smith from IAB Authors Experience and get a consultation from her. I think that the best thing that you could do is get a composition book or even a piece of paper to start off with. Piece of paper. Write down your first thought. You don't have to have a title. Write your name on it. Claim it. Write down Renee's information. Get your consultation and begin. And Renee will tell you the first thing you should do is get a composition book. You can maybe get two for $1, depending on where you get them from.
Yes.
And every time you have a thought for your book, write it in the same book.
Yes. Because when you put it on a paper, we know how it is with paper. They just go where they shouldn't go. So yes. And I thank you, Evelyn, for that plug. We appreciate that because Evelyn actually started in our group, our Author Speaks group, or Writers Cafe group
Right.
that we host on Monday. And she started writing it there. And I actually saw the book blossom from, she came with the idea until now we have a published book. So we're very excited to have Evelyn here because she is one of our own. um so who and usually we have the question is, who is this book intended for? Who is your audience for this book?
A person who wants to share their culinary legacy with their family, who wants to have conversation at family events that everybody can relate to.
Mm.
In the book, you're encouraged to write your funny stories that happen. Oh, we have one about our Uncle Lonnie. Uncle Lonnie would do some things in the kitchen. I never forget when he had the popcorn popping all over the kitchen because he took the top off and forgot to put it back on.
That just sounds hilarious.
So, during holidays, there's always a little bit of tension going on. So, you share some of these funny stories, it breaks the tension and people start laughing and talking. Some people have traveled for a while and they're just a little uptight by the time they get off the highway.
Yeah.
Really ready to converse the way you're expecting them to converse before dinner. So these funny stories really help.
Yeah, and I'm just holding, the there's so many different aspects of the book because even though the book has its story, it's allowing you to write your story as well. Because I look at this book as a keepsake, because you have information that you have shared about your family and what you did growing up with your family, but you encourage the the um the reader to also share their story and to write their story here, and that's something that they can pass on. Because in it you ask, what is um your special ingredient for your dish? Because everybody, you have your black eyed pea dish, but then once you learn it, then you start to get fancy. You start, oh, let me put a little
Exactly.
this, let me try a little this, change the seasoning, let me change the spice, I'm gonna put something else in there. So this is something that is really a keepsake for people. I think if when you buy this book, you're gonna be very you're going to want to pass it down. It's something that you'll pass down because it really has that energy and that space for you to do that. So, and this is a little bit different. This Author Speaks with Evelyn, because there's so much that we we are connected. So I know a lot of the stuff, and I have to remember, okay, you need to ask that because the public wants to know. It's not about you, Renee. It's not about you. So, um, what authors have inspired you along your journey?
Oh, very interesting. Because I don't have a list of names um, with me, but I can describe the person. Um, One is, I'm so sorry I don't have his name, but he is a culinary spokesperson,
Mm-hmm.
and he considers himself a expert in cooking black eyed peas also. I didn't know that until I started looking for different things and different references. So kind of he spoke differently than I did about food. I felt that he spoke more eloquently about food.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted my book to be basic, but I also wanted to let people know that, this being is to be respected. I'd say that the black eyed pea is the Rodney Dangerfield of beans because it doesn't get any respect. And how dare we do that to this bean? Because on every special, really important holiday, it's there to bring us luck and to nourish us, and it's a very sustaining bean. But because beans,
And
black eyed peas side.
one of the things that I remember, and I think maybe it was rice grains, but no, it could have been beans. So I know rice grains, grains of rice that they used to braid it in the hair. And I'm wondering if it's the same culture with beans, because beans are so hardy. They travel well, they dry, they rehydrate, and then they are very filling. When you cook beans, you can just, bean soup or bean stew, and it really is very hearty. So I think your bean will start to get respect once people start reading your book, Evelyn, and getting really knowledgeable about the black eyed peas. um and because this is a different genre. It's not necessarily a cookbook. But why did you decide to write in, you know kind of folklore? Why did you decide to write in this genre?
Because I wanted to get the facts down that I knew, and I wanted to get the information down that I shared with my family. I didn't have the time at the moment to do a complete Rutgers University, where I got my degree from, research, very thorough.
Hmm.
I did refer to a couple of horticultural places and horticultural organizations, and
Right.
guess what? There really wasn't too much specific information about the black eyed pea.
Oh,
But I thought that was very interesting also.
right.
When you read the book, you'll find out that the black eyed pea goes by many names, and people will say that it's a different pea, it's a different bean. It's the black eyed pea. It just has different names. Some people tell you differently, but biologically, it's the same name. It's the same bean, which we call a pea. I tell you, it doesn't get any respect. It wasn't even. We don't
Well,
even call it the right thing.
it's funny because in Jamaica we have the red beans. We use that a lot. So we call it red peas. And then when I came to America, people are like, no, that's a bean. That's a red bean. Like, peas or bean? What makes a pea a bean? What makes a bean a bean? What makes a pea a pea? Oh,
Right,
that's a whole nother conversation. You
right.
but it's in terms of, and the same thing with us, with the, like I'd mentioned before, we have we call it gungu peas, and that's the same one that you call the pigeon peas. So I think if you
Mhm.
go from culture to culture, that people have different names for them, as well as the usage. But again, we didn't have that black eyed pea culture in Jamaica. we had the pigeon peas, and I think I'm likening it to the same kind of historical usage because we also do that in the holidays. That's the I think maybe that's when it's harvested, and the reason why we're able to get it in the holiday more frequently. But now people freeze and do everything. You can get it anytime you want, but traditionally we usually around Christmas time. Um, so one of the things I wanted to find out, and we know this, do you have a writing group or community of writers you share your work with? And who
Yes,
are
I do. And actually, that is the answer as to Davina's question. How do you get started with writing a book? Hello, Darina. I know that you do have some very interesting contact that you would like to organize in a book, and I think that it would be a good seller. The best way to get started is to join a writer's book. Now, IBEX, Renee's group, has a writer's cafe, and we started meeting in the library. I would go the first couple of times I just went and listened, and she'd give you a little writing assignment, a little topic to write about. And I found myself enjoying that. At first, I was a little nervous about it, but I found myself enjoying it. I didn't want to share at first, but eventually I did, and then they couldn't stop me from talking. Uh, but you end up actually organizing some of these pieces that you write. You end up pulling them from different pages to maybe write a longer story, and it helps you learn to express yourself. You find out what your writing style is and what you're most comfortable in.
Yeah, and I think it's also helpful to be in a safe space as a group of writers, because sometimes you're trying to do it on your own, which is fine. A lot of people like that solitude, but if you're just starting out and you need that support, it's good to have a writing community or writing group that you can share your thoughts and ideas, and they're able to give you critique and say, hey, they'll ask you the questions that will kind of draw out your story a little bit more. They'll ask you, why did the man go down the street, or why did you have him do this or that? And because of that, it now inspires you to dig deeper and make a more full-bodied story. Because if your group mates, the individuals in the group, are asking that question, chances are the person who reads the book is going to have the same question. And I think when you do that, it really, being in a group, really helps. And as Evelyn just said, independent, our group IABX, we have a writers cafe. It's over Zoom, so you don't have to leave your house, especially on cold days.
Right?
And we do it over Zoom, and we have a community that we work with. And you're able to share your work. Evelyn is one of our published authors, and we have probably about five more published authors within the group. And every year we have a new person publishing a book, working on a project. So we're super excited. If you need any support, please visit our website. I'm going to put it up again, iabx.org, and join our group, and we can help you get from out of here to right here. So um
I would
now,
like,
Evelyn.
oops,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I would like to share one picture.
Yes.
Okay, and this is a picture of the black eyed peas growing in the garden.
I don't think I've ever seen a black eyed pea in, I mean, I've seen it in a book, but in real life. I've seen other beans and peas growing, but it's pretty
Mhm.
long.
Yes, it is long and it has very large leaves, and the flower is very interesting. And the black eyed pea flower is actually the inspiration for my Garden Fairies book.
Oh, do you have a picture of the flower in the book?
Yes, I do. I should kind
Mm,
of make you.
I'm trying to think how many beans. That should be a project. How many beans are in a black eyed pea? What do you call it? A pod?
A pod,
How many beans can it hold? How many do you think?
about 12, 14.
Really? That's a
Yes,
lot.
yes, yes.
And for you to say that they are They are smaller now. So that must have been a really long pod.
Yes, they grow in hot weather, but they last for a while
Mm-hmm.
in the cold weather also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, much larger than a regular string bean.
Yeah, because when I thought when I saw it initially, I kind of I don't want to say I glossed over it, and I had string bean came to mind, but now that I'm really looking at it, it is pretty long.
Yes. So
Now
in
you
the bottom of the pages, I do have a black and white silhouette
oh, the leaf.
of the flower. It's the leaf and the flower with the three beans
Oh yes,
on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that.
yeah, just yeah, I can see it. Okay.
Yeah, it resembles the sweet pea. You really
Oh,
can't. You have to really be a farmer gardener to know the difference.
oh wow, I'm super excited. I mean, I like beans. I do like beans. I like beans, peas. So I really appreciate a good bean. So we had on the holidays I didn't have the black eyed peas. Actually a friend of mine had told me and I said, oh my gosh, wait, I have a book. It tells me about the story. So then I ran for the book. So she's like, what else am I supposed to have? So she said you needed the collard greens, but I didn't have collard greens, so I said I'm going for spinach. I said because they said the green represents money.
Money.
Yes. So I said, bring on the money. So I had spinach with mine instead of the collard greens. Um, so you've written in this genre, Evelyn. Have you considered working in any other genre? Now that you've written a book, I know you said you had a second book you had in mind, and but what else? What else? Other genre or what extension outside of the Black Eyed Pea do you have in mind to write?
I'm writing a children's action story, and that too takes place around family gatherings. It's called The Crumbler, and it is
Mm.
based on a real event.
Uh-oh.
Seven, seven children go on a hunt and an in house expedition to find out who has been leaving all of these crumbs that they've had to clean up because they've been assigned the cleanup duty after a family event.
When
And throughout the expedition, they remember different stories and they find out different things in the house. There's also a couple of near accidents
uh-oh.
and some frightful things because there's it's not a holiday if someone isn't telling a spooky story to try to see who they could scare. So it has a couple of those activities and themes, I should say, in the chapters. And it's geared for, I would say, 8 to 13. But when with children's book, if it's a good book, it's for everybody.
Yes, yes, I agree. I can because that I write in the children's book genre, and I can agree. I can attest that if it's a good book, even though sometimes even if it's a simpler book, a child will still read it as long as there's a good message in there. So I'm excited for you with the Crumbler. Can't wait to read it, and then you have to come back when we have a children's month, so you can talk about the Crumbler, and that's chapter book. It sounds like it's a
Yes,
chapter book.
yes.
Okay. I haven't written a chapter book. I'm really excited about writing it. Um, how are you finding writing the chapter book as it relates the difference between that and the book that you wrote, the Black Eyed Pea, this one?
The Black Eyed Pea book kind of flowed because it was based on memory.
Mm,
And I looked up a couple of things to check my memory if it had anything to do with history.
right.
Um, so that just flowed more easily. The Crumbler was based on an incident that we had as children. And I wrote the basic theme for each chapter, but I found out that, making it more interesting for 8-year-olds, making it more exciting for 12-year-olds, adding
Right.
more elements to the chapters, that was my challenge.
Okay, okay. And I think that I find this the same thing when I think about writing a chapter book. There's so much more detail that you need for that chapter book, and the different chapters, and keeping a child engaged till the end. That is something that I too am working on a chapter book. So, well,
Well, I
I
know
see.
I'm hoping, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut over you,
Go
but
ahead.
I'm definitely planning on having a crumbler at the Children's Book Festival in June.
June 8th, everybody, June 8th. We hope you can be there. I know people are popping in. If you are, please let us know your city and state. Just say hi. If you have a question for Evelyn, drop it in the chat, whatever platform you're on. Just drop it in the chat, and we can have ask Evelyn the question about her Black Eyed Peas book. But we wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to an aspiring author? Now that you've told us about your book and the challenges, what advice would you give to an aspiring author?
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
I like that.
Don't ward off advice and write,
Hmm. Yes.
write, write, write. Don't worry about how it's going to fall into place. Don't worry about writing your book in full form. Just
Yes.
write.
Just
As
right.
many, right. As
I
many.
like that. Just I'm writing it in the chat. Just right. And that's very good because um hey. So Valerie, I just want to drop one of the things with writing is that what you have it here, and you get, so they call it writer's block or whatever it is, but you can't edit a blank page. you I'm going to say that again, you cannot edit a blank page. So just put it on paper, no matter what it is, even if it's not in order, just write it down. Because if you don't have it there, you can't remember it. Sometimes, there's so much going on, we can't remember everything. So you write it down. Remember the notebook, put it in the notebook. Keep it. It helps to keep your thoughts together. This is my notebook. I'll show you the date. I don't know if you can see the date. September 24th, 2018. This is how long I've had this book. All my thoughts are here. So if I ever need to go back, we can. I'm going to bring up a message here. Valerie said, "What was the name of the peas you ordered to grow?"
Heritage.
Heritage. Where did you get it
Heritage.
from?
I
Okay, you're
I
going to have
got
to.
it from two women who grow vegetables in their garden. I believe I found them on Etsy, and I'm so sorry I
Oh,
don't have the information with me, but I can definitely willing to share it at maybe on your page or on my
yeah, share it
website.
with me.
Share it.
Yes, and she says, also, I'm interested in the IABX writing group. We'll be looking out for the crumbler. Well, you and I both, Valerie. And again, if you visit the website at iabx.org, you can get some information about joining our writers group. It's on Mondays from 6:30 to 7:30. And she's from Brown Mills, New Jersey. Welcome, Valerie.
Oh, hello, Valerie. How are you?
And then we have another question, another concept statement here. Very good insight on the subject matter of the Black Eyed Peas, as well as the importance of writing and sharing with others. Thank you both. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Um, and if you miss it and someone else missed it, we're going to share it. It's going to be on YouTube. We'll share the link. We'll drop the link later on. But again, if you have a question for Evelyn, please drop it in the chat. um one of the things, and the reason we have this event and the show, is to ensure that people can talk, authors can talk about their books, but you, the listener, can just get some insight on why they write and what inspired them to write, and hopefully you can get some inspiration from them to write as well. So we really want you Feel free to keep asking questions. We have a few more minutes to go, but we want to just make sure that you have an opportunity to talk to the author. She's here. She has her book. I have it too. It's Black Eyed Peas, an American Story. And I'm just gonna be she mentioned me in the book, so I'm super excited too. Thank you,
That's right,
Evelyn.
I did. I forgot about that.
Thank you, Evelyn.
I certainly
Um,
did. Should I read what I wrote?
Uh-oh. Not just I'm gonna put myself on blast. The reader says very informative interview on Black Eyed Peas. Yes, it was, and there's some I learned. I have the book as I keep pulling it up, but there's so many things that I didn't know because there's especially the story about the male who comes in first to your house is bringing the good luck. Can we rewrite that though? I just want to say, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But there's a lot that we have learned tonight about the Black Eyed Pea. Um, and I know we're wrapping up or winding down, but I just have a few more questions for you as far as, um, and they always ask this, what do you write on when you're doing you're starting to write your stories or whatever it is? Do you use pen and paper or do you use a computer?
Haha. I use a combination of both. If I have a thought, or actually, when I'm using my imagination, is usually on the computer because I can get it down faster.
Mm-hmm,
When I am writing something that's reflective or creative, I tend to write on paper. For some reason, I don't know what it is about that ink going on the paper that I just feel like there's a flow going on.
mm-hmm.
But I do have certain books that I write in. One is a pink book that has some relation for myself. I guess I went shopping with a family member and bought this large, extra large pink composition book. So I have the Crumbler written in there, but I also have some of the more action stories chapters written on my computer.
Okay. Okay. So there you have it, people. You have pen and paper or the computer. Personally, I like to start with pen and paper, but I had another author who was on the show a few months ago, and she said to me that she uses the Google Talk to Text. And I was like, really? I said, okay. So it's on your phone. So what I did was I tried it, and I actually you have to go and correct because if you're from Jamaica and you have a slight accent, sometimes the words are like, what did you what did you type? And then you're just typing. But the good thing about it is that I will say is that I was able to get those thoughts out really quickly and put it right there. And then again, editing, you can't edit a blank page. So I was able to now go back and edit that so that it makes sense. I can put things and move things around. So I start with pen and paper and then I transfer to the computer. So like Evelyn, I use both because if you're on the go, you send yourself a voice note or um, just so you can remember. I don't know if there are any writers on the who are listening in, but what do you use? What method do you use? Pen and paper? Do you use a computer? Do you use talk to text? Do you use a recorder? There's so many devices that they have now. And you know what I heard, Evelyn? They have a pen that, what does it do? It writes, I forget, you talk into it and it writes on the computer.
I definitely believe that because of the different writing aids that we've had for some of our nonverbal students
Hmm.
and some of the early childhood um, learning tools that they even have for children.
Yeah. Dorina says she uses pen and paper. Okay, Dorina, we have some purists in the room. If anyone else is on and you want to tell us what you use, pen and paper or the computer. And then before we go, we want people to know where we can find your book, Evelyn.
My book can be purchased in person at the Urban Marketplace. That's on 125 East 2nd Avenue in Roselle.
Okay, give that to me again.
They're
Urban
currently going in under renovations. I've seen on the website. That is the Urban Marketplace.
Marketplace. I'm typing this in the chat so people can find it.
Okay,
And it is, what's the address?
125 East Second Avenue,
125 East.
Roselle, New Jersey.
It helps when you can spell. I'm trying to listen to you and type at the same time. And I should notice because I had typing classes. So her
Mhm.
book is available at the Urban Marketplace, and the address is there. But where else can you get the book as well, Evelyn?
You can buy the book at my website, Jada's Hope Chest, and HTTPS colon slash slash www.jadashopechest.org. Yes, you can see on the flyer in the front, the poster that's up now. I don't know if everybody else can see that.
Yes, it's for everybody. Yes,
Okay.
everyone can see it. So it's Jada's Hope Chest. And if you have any questions for Evelyn, you can also email her at Evelyn at
Evelyn, yes,
jadashopechest.org.
right.
And are you on social media, Evelyn?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page, and that is also Jada's Hope Chest.
And are you on Instagram as well?
Yes, I am, and that is also Jada's Hope Chest.
So on Facebook and Instagram, you can, it's going to be Jada's Hope Chest. Yes, I'm going to put the
Yes,
at sign. So
yes.
if you want to reach out to Evelyn, go ahead, Evelyn.
When you go to the website, and when you want to buy the book, you can look for media. It may be right on top. I'm calling it up now
So
because
while
it's under media and it's under new projects.
Okay. So again, if you want to get a copy of Evelyn's book, it's going to be at the Urban Marketplace at 125 East 2nd Avenue in Roselle. Or you can visit her website at jadashopechest.org, and that's JAIDAS hopechest.org. Or if you have any questions, you can email Evelyn at evelyn@jadashopechest.org. She's on social media, Facebook and Instagram at jadashopechest.org. So if you want to support, learn a little bit more about the Black Eyed Peas, if you want to have this book as a keepsake, as I mentioned to you before, there are sections in the book where you can also leave your own memories of when you had the Black Eyed Pea, or you can create new memories and place them also in the book. Oh, I have and Valerie here says, Valerie's getting in now. She's giving us a response. I start out
Okay.
with pencil and eraser, then computer. Also, I log in when I start and when I stop in a composition book. She said, I enjoy Black Eyed Peas, top of conversation at Christmas. Yes. And I think that will be that I'm going to add that to my list, my Christmas list of things that I will now start preparing the Black Eyed Peas. So Valerie starts with a pen and paper as well, and then she goes to the computer. I like that too, that you mentioned, Valerie, about using the composition book, the stop and start. Um, and I'm going to show you my composition book because I I'm a little, is that the one? I'm a little nutty when I write sometimes, and I have arrows all over the place. I'm one of those write and place arrows and back up. So that's what I'm saying to you, that when you're writing, just put it down on the paper, even if it's not in order. When you go back, you'll start to reflect and put everything in order. So again, you can't edit a blank page. So you start somewhere and just put it down. Any last words, Evelyn, before you go to
Um,
share this? Your
I'm very complimented that Valerie likes the book and that it was a conversation during the Christmas, because that's exactly what the book is intended for. And I happen to know that Valerie is also an accomplished author and writer. She has two publications out, and I'm really, really looking forward to her joining our group.
Oh, wonderful, Valerie! Congratulations. You want to share the name of your book in the chat? We still have a few more minutes, Valerie. If you want to share the title of your book, we're here to support all authors, and maybe what you can select the genre. I'm going to just read them down again while Valerie puts that information in the chat. If you have a biography, autobiography, or a memoir, you can sign up for Author Speaks in February. In March, we have our Women's History Month. We're featuring women authors. In April, which is Poetry Month, we're going to feature poets. So if you are a poet, if you've written a poetry book or a spoken word, please sign up to be a part of our show. And then in May, we feature fiction. So those are and if you forget them, don't worry. You can just visit our website at iabx.org. I'm going to put that down here. Um, and just put in go to our website, sign up for a writers cafe or any of our events. If you're an author and you'd like to attend one of our events, please do so as well. Let me get that there back for you. um oh, Valerie wrote Faith to Faith and duet novels. Interesting. Congratulations. Oh no. Congratulations, Valerie. We hope that you can join us on um one of our events. I'm gonna let Evelyn has a few more little things here to mention. Go ahead, Evelyn.
I forgot to mention the price of the book. The book sells for $15. There's currently free shipping. It's I go by PayPal. There's other venues, but my preferred venue or platform for sales is PayPal, and that's all just following the clicks on the website. Just go to all products, and Black Eyed Peas, An American Story will show up. As for Darina, I think the most discouraging thing about being a writer and finding out parts about the publication price, the publication process rather, is the price of printing. So what I did was I found a sponsor, and we all have our fans. We may not know who our fans are, but we do have fans, and you can mention it to them when you're ready, or let them know that you're working on a project. Give them some type of deadline, like the Crumbler. I know that I want the Crumbler done by the 8th. So for anyone who I think would like to sponsor my endeavors, I would tell them about now. Don't continuously ask them and beg them about it, but just let them know and what the price is. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that sponsors will come and help you out with that.
And that's a nice tip to share, because a lot of the times people there's those are the barriers to entry into publication. Printing or getting your book edited or finding the right means to share your work. Um, as Evelyn said, you have supporters, you have people and family members, whether friends or even people who just know you and like you as an individual and want to hear a little bit more about your story, and they may just support you just because. So we want to just share that with you. And also, don't be afraid, ask questions. Again, join a group. um Irina says thank you for the tip, Evelyn.
Oh, you're quite
um
welcome.
and again, we have events that are coming up, so we just want to share that with you again. If you are a children's book author, on Saturday, June 8th, we're hosting our IABX Children's Book Festival. It's going to be at Warnaco Sports Center, One Park Drive in Roselle, from 12 p.m. to 3:30. Whether you're an author, if you're an author or a vendor, you can register. But if you have little ones, children, please bring them. They're going to be an amazing array of authors there with different genres of books. We also have face painting, we have bouncy house, we have free books, we have giveaways, we have yoga, we have popcorn. It is a day of fun for the children as well as for the parents, because it's a safe environment. They can be there and they can just have a good time, just meeting the authors, taking pictures with the authors, getting their books signed, as well as enjoying all the other activities that we have planned. And then the last but not least, we have our 11th annual Independent Authors Book Expo, which will be on October 19th. And that's going to be at Kane University Downs Hall. Save the date, write it in your calendar, don't miss it. It's a free event, and all these events are free. So you can come on down. It's free. Bring your family and your friends. If you have a book club, bring them as well. You can buy your book from Evelyn and have it signed. And you can also take a picture with the author and post it on Instagram and say, "Hey, I met the author." I mean, how often do we get the opportunity to meet the author and ask them questions? So we have a real life author here who can take pictures and give you the insight and the backstory for all your deep thoughts and questions. So before we go, we just want to say thank you again, Evelyn, for being here. We really appreciate it. And we just thank you for taking the time to be with us. And we want to just say congratulations on your book. I know it's going to be super successful. It already has been. You had a very great event with your tasting. I'm ready for the next one because I really like that bean that
I'm
cheesecake.
getting a lot of requests as to when the next one's going to be. So
Yes. So
I,
when you're having it, let me know and I'll share it with the audience so they can come out and be a part and enjoy some of that really tasty black eyed peas. But thank you again. All the best for your book and good luck with the crumbler because we're all waiting for that. And Darina says congratulations and much success. We
thank you.
concur, Dorina. Thank you all for being a part of our show, and we look forward to seeing you next month when we feature an author who writes in the biography, autobiography, and memoir genre. Have a good evening, everyone, and see you all soon. Take care and be well.